All right, I got this apart. You can see the brown, that's sort of what the grease turned into a shellac. I just wire brushed this on my wire wheel here, still spinning. But if you look on the inside, you can kind of see on the inside the grease and stuff. I think it's supposed to move freely in there. I don't know if this hole goes anywhere. It looks like maybe it's supposed to be a grease fitting of some sort, like I should be able to put grease in there. I don't know. But it came apart. I'll go from there. All right, I got this piece greased and just lightly wire brushed the inside with my brass brush right there. And it's moving nice and smooth. And we'll get it installed. It goes on this side in this little hole right. Is that the hole? No, wait, that's not the hole. Is that the hole? No, that's not. This is the hole. It goes in this hole, and you can see that little hole in the back. I cannot see those black marks in there. That's casting voids. That is not grease. I thought it was hardened grease. You can see the hole in the middle where this little pin goes. And we'll go from there. Here it is. It's mounted in there. It pushes in and out like it's supposed to. I'm assuming it's supposed to be able to slide pretty easily. Not the exterior part, but the interior part. And then it's got that little hole set screw sticks right there, which I gotta put a little pin in there just to get it a little bit straighter, but yeah. And see the hole down there, you can kind of see it in the middle on the wall. That's where that pin is going to stick out. It's so hard getting this thing so that anyway. All right, here's the screw. You can kind of see that little pin. And let me get a better background for you. That goes in the little hole down in there. And I'm going to try and do that now. All right, it's in there. It's all the way down. I didn't tighten it really hard, but I just tightened it down. That goes in and out. I'm not sure. What for? I don't know why that pin's not popping out. It just kind of sits up against there. Huh. Maybe I need to try that again and get that pin. The pin's not popping out of that hole when I press. When I press on the side, I don't see the pin popping out of that hole right there. I think it's supposed to. That's the pin. I wonder if it's sheared or something. It doesn't look like it's sheared. It doesn't look like it's sheared, but it was in the hole. I don't know. I'm going to look at the brass piece on the top of the spindle again, see if I can figure out how it's supposed to go. All right, here's the brass piece that sits on top of the spindle. It obviously goes like this, right? It goes like this. There's nothing on the side here. And that's where the hole is right. You can just barely see it. Let me see if I can point it out with my little pointer. You can just barely see it. That's the hole right there, where the end of the pointer is. It doesn't seam, the pin does not seem long enough to stick out of that hole. I don't get it. What's the pin doing? There's nothing on the side of this that it would be touching it. I tried greasing it to see if it was a grease fitting, and that grease was supposed to come out of it. Maybe it is. Maybe that's what it is. I'm supposed to grease up the spindle this way, and that this little hole is just clogged in here. I used my little push greaser. It's for chainsaws, but it works fine for these grease fittings here. It has on the side, but maybe that's what it is. Maybe I need to try and get like, I have an ultrasonic cleaner. Maybe I'll stick this in an ultrasonic cleaner, because that does look like a little hole back there, doesn't it, down in the bottom? That's probably how it gets greased. Yeah, I bet that's how it gets greased. Push it in. I don't think anything else, there are no other holes in this thing. I know you don't see it on camera, but there are no other holes in here for greasing this. That big hole right there is for the handle, gears to ride, and this does have a grease fitting on it on the end here, and it comes out of this. Stop focusing on the table. Comes out of that hole right there, but that's just to grease this shaft in there. That doesn't grease the bearings. I bet that's what it is. I bet this is for greasing and it's clogged. It probably turned hard in there. It's one of the reasons it was probably seized. Let me see if I can find something to clear that out. Well, there's no grease hole down in there. You can see that's like a perfectly machined end of a little screw, the very tip of a drill. So it is not a grease fitting. I have no idea why there's a pin. This has a spring. The spring sits in the end of this. It's hard doing it with one hand. I'm not left-hand coordinated very well. The spring sits there, but this pin slides through the spring. I think, and I'm guessing, I don't make machine tools. Maybe this is supposed to be just thick enough to provide some friction on this. Does that, some friction on the side of this? I mean, this is the top, or at least that was the way it was assembled, as this side up. It's got that number 176 on it. Piece of brass or bronze. Obviously these teeth are fitted. This is what goes up and down. I don't see, granted I did put this through the wire wheel, but I don't see any obvious wear marks on the side where that would touch or key into. I mean, this is already keyed into there. I don't know. I don't know. I can't find a manual for this. I'm going to just put it back together the way I took it apart, which is that they're going in here, this being on the inside, and yeah, who knows? Who knows? This honestly seems like the spring from inside of a pen. I thought for sure when I took it apart, I was thinking that this spring basically pushed against the back of this. There was no little washer on it. This end does not fit through the hole to push out. This end does, but it's very tight. I think I'm gonna scrub the hole with a little, I have more like bottle brushes like that brass one, so I'll scrub the hole in here at the end to make sure that there's not shit stuck in the hole. But it doesn't, I don't know. I truly am at a loss. I don't know. I'm gonna put it back together. I hate not understanding how a thing works or why something was made. Like, anyway.